Christian, I am going to make you co-host just in case anything were to happen. And
Sounds
if
perfect.
no pressure, but if you want to help let people in, that would be great.
I will be happy to do so. Just to clarify, if I'm co-host and I press gallery view, does that control the whole view?
No, because I'm going to have it on follow hosts view.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And okay, we are just about to get this show on the road.
Are you ready for me to start letting people in?
Yes.
Okay, great.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Hey, welcome everybody. I am Love Coach Scott Katamas, and welcome to our Sacred Sunday edition of the Awakening World. Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy Resurrection Day, happy anniversary to all of us on Global Peace Tribe celebrating this 2 years that we've been coming to you and bringing offerings. And so it's been an amazing weekend, absolutely amazing. And I'm so grateful that we get to share some sacred time together. I call it the Sacred Sunday Show, and I want to emphasize we are multi-denominational. We honor all paths to the divine, all paths of life, as long as they're based in learning to love, practicing love. That's our bottom line religion here. And I have some of my favorite people who are joining me for this Sacred Sunday Show. For anybody who saw last night's Saturday Night Live, I got to say that really, truly, the experience that Kristen Hoffman provided us was for me the most, yeah, Karen Eisenberg is agreeing, it was the most magical moment in the entire 2 year history. It's like we ascended through her song, through her voice, and with the energy of the Twin Ray to a whole new level. And so, how cool that we get to have Kristen with us today again to just kind of stay in that vibration of amazing love that she created. And one of the great things about Global Peace Tribe is I'm a little bee. Maybe I'll tell you my bee story. I love to connect people. And a while back, I had the opportunity to connect amazing musical artist Christian with amazing musical artist Cornflower. And they have since created several experiences together for the Global Peace Tribe. So we have two of our absolute favorite musical artists today, and they're not going to play. They are going to share, they're going to speak, we get to know who they are as beings, in addition to the amazing musical offerings. We got to have a little bit of music. So Filling in the breaches, Omashar, who's a very wonderful, new, amazing part of our Global Peace Tribe. We love Omashar.
Happy
It's
Easter, many blessings.
welcome. And there's always new people coming in and joining Global Peace Tribe. And so again, for those of you who've been watching this weekend, you've met this beautiful, amazing new woman. Well, she's not new to herself, but she's new to us. And this is Tangela. And she is the creator of Soul Search, which is going to be a wonderful ongoing collaborative partner for Global Peace Tribe, and probably a wonderful way for many of you to interact with each other, because that's like the next step, is finding ways for this beautiful. I mean, I noticed you all chatting with each other in the chat box, but now you can actually meet each other through Soul Search and through what Tangela has created. So, welcome everybody. We also are going to have Chief Phil Lane is joining us. He's having some computer issues, but he is going to join us live. And then we've got a beautiful video greeting from some of our favorite friends, including Marcy Scheimoff and Andrew Harvey. So it's going to be a really fun, beautiful Sacred Sunday. Now, in the spirit of mixing things up, for those of you who come, and most of you are regulars, and for anybody in the Zoom room, let us know where you're from geographically. And that's always fun. And also, what does this Easter, Passover, resurrection time, what does it mean to you? And that's what we're all going to be talking about today. What does this mean to us? And how do we take this powerful energy? You know, much of the world is in contemplation and prayer and celebration. How do we take that and apply it to our lives? And that's what we're going to focus on today, as well as a little bit about talking about the last 2 years. I also want to invite anybody who's not in our Zoom room, who's watching, and that's hundreds or thousands of people, watching on Facebook or watching on Ellen Steinfeld's YouTube channel. Come on in, come join us. It's really easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and register. And we have a promo code, so you get all of our links for the next 3 months free. And the promo code is New Friend. So go to globalpeacetribe.com, put in the promo code of New Friend, and you're going to get links to all of our shows for the next 3 months. All right. Sacred Sunday, we make any moment sacred just by choosing divinity. We usually start with meditation, and Cornflower is going to bless us with a meditation. And so again, I love that we get to learn and see new parts of each other. And so here is Cornflower to take us on a journey.
Thank you, Scott. And I didn't ask, how long would you like me to go for? Is there a,
You know, we
just
were
let it
thinking
flow?
2 to 3 hours. If that
Don't tempt me,
no.
man. Brevity is not my friend.
You know, whatever feels in the room. Usually it's anywhere from 3 to 5.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Scott. Thank you all.
Thank you.
It is an honor to be here and to be present in circle with all of you. So let's just get started first with a grounding and arrival meditation, and then we'll drop into a prayer within that container. So just relax into this moment where you're sitting, where you're standing, where you're laying, and just become present to the beating of your heart. And slowly start to bring your mind's attention to the blood pumping through your veins. Feel it in your hands and your feet. Feel your body sinking into this moment. Feel the beautiful, magical power of gravity holding you here. And as you do that, just start to bring your inhale in through your nose, and then exhale through your mouth with a gentle sound. Doesn't have to be deep, just natural breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's do 3 of those together and arrive together in this circle. Gentle. So now that we have synchronized using the power of spirit, our breath, and come together into this circle, into this moment, no matter where we are on the planet, we are all connected and together in this circle of breath, the circle of spirit. This container, as Scott mentioned earlier, is built on love, as is all of creation. But we're holding this container of love today, whether you follow the holiday that people are celebrating today or not. There is a collective focus. There's a collective rising that's unfolding today. It's a resurrection of the human species, our awakening, our chrysalis. Just drop into feeling how that is feeling in your life. Be real with where you're at, where you're standing in this moment in time. The greatest way for us to find love in our life is to always get real with where we're sitting, where we're standing, what's happening in our lives. Not judging it, being with our breath, keeping that focus of inhale and exhale. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, and just contemplating the reality. Some may think of stuff going on around the world, pandemic, all of these different things, shootings, stuff that's projected through media. It's so easy to think that that is our reality, when in truth, that is merely 0.0000000001 of the magnificent rising of consciousness through all life, throughout all of the universe. So I want to connect us into that track, into that lens. Let's look through that lens of the mighty universe that's moving to and through and around all of us in this moment. And feel the magnificent, thriving potential, busting at the seams, wanting to create through us and make real the promise of love. Great Spirit, please hear our call today as we open ourselves as vessels of love, as instruments of love. May we live, be, and breathe from this place. May we choose love over fear. And anytime we fall out of balance, may we find coherency through our breath. And it's not about not reacting to the world around us. It's about how quickly can we choose to return to coherency and create and act from that place. To be aware, not to judge, but to love fully, completely, all of it. The good parts and the parts that we seek to transform, to grow in, to rise through, and resurrect ourselves as one organism on this beautiful, radiant planet, living through one of the most transformative times. Great Spirit, please hold us in this. Remind us in this. Help us remember in each moment our truth, who we are, why we're here, and that every single soul that we interact with in our lives are the greatest teachers towards love. May we find ourselves in this moment, every cell of our body beaming as little suns shining into our lives. May our hearts stay gentle and open and relaxed and wide open to all that is to come on this grand journey of the Earth School. So be it, and so it is. It is done. It is done. It is done.
Cornflower brother, that was so, so beautiful. Thank you so much. I can't imagine a more perfect space opening today, a more open hearted, loving, grounded, gentle prayer. Thank you so, so much.
You're very welcome. It's an honor to be an instrument of the universe. I didn't plan anything, just set the intention. We hold this container together, so we're all contributing to what flowed in and is coming through. We're all strings on the galactic guitar, and when we circle up together, we make the greatest music. It's called the One Song, also known as the universe, singing itself into being. So it's such an honor to get to talk, to share, because this is all embedded in the music, but to put words and focus in that way, it's really such a gift. So thank you.
Yeah, it's really, really fun, getting to just connect with you on this level. And brother, you give good prayer. You give very good prayer. Some of the comments coming in. Cornflower, we love you. I'm reading some of the comments. Thank you, Cornflower. Very moving. I heard new lessons. Thank you, Cornflower. Amazing. This is from Unify Now. Amazing meditation. So beautiful. Aho. I love Cornflower. Yeah, thank you. I also really, everything was beautiful, but what stood out in my memory now is just helping to remind us to see beyond just what the news is telling us and to connect to the incredible, magnificent things that are happening in the world that don't get the attention. That's why we have Global Peace Tribe in our offerings. That's why we have Soul Search.
Yeah, I was really, really lucky to play music with the bassist Victor Wooten. I don't know how many of you all know who Victor Wooten is. He's considered one of the greatest bassists on the planet. And he's also deeply spiritual and on his path. And we were playing a concert the night that Paris was bombed. And he was speaking to the crowd because everybody was pretty shaken by it. And he brought that through, bringing our attention to all of the magnificence that's also happening. Not that we're, closing our eyes away from this part of us that's, going through this tragedy, because we're all connected. But it's about bringing into that tragedy the magnificence of everything else, bringing in that. It's like it fuels us to be able to be empowered in moments where we're so distant from tragedy and tragic events. A lot of times I know I have in the past felt very disempowered, and I've learned that, prayer, is no idle woman's amusement. When properly understood and applied, is one of the most powerful tools in the universe, which is a Gandhi quote. And, I think that is, that's the gift of these kinds of offerings, is us coming together and holding our focus for that kind of stuff, but always remembering that there's so much more goodness flowing through and around it all, and keeps us buoyed in times of transformation.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the Doctor and Mrs. Future in the house, so at some point we're going to put them on camera and give them a chance. And Robin Streichler is here, and so many of our friends. So, with the theme of what does this Resurrection Day, Passover, Easter, anniversary celebration, what does it mean to each of you? I'm going to turn to our beloved Kristen Hoffman. And again, this is, again, we all get a chance to hear Kristen sing, but I'm so grateful that I'm her friend now, so I get to hear her speak more often too. And like Cornflower, she's got a lot of beautiful things to share. And you look especially radiant this morning, I must say,
Oh,
Kristen.
thank you, Scott. Thank you. Well, I feel like last night was such a beautiful time of sharing. And I just woke up this morning actually feeling like yesterday, the whole day, I got a chance to be present for the beginning of Scott's amazing workshop during the day. And every part of the day, it was raining here and gray, and it didn't seem like one of those days that would hold a magic. Yet there was a mystery and so much growth present throughout. And this sense of like a rising up, which brings me to today. There was this feeling of, oh, the growth, all of the seeds that have been planted, this energy is rising up. And I'm really seeing it today come in so many different forms. So I woke up this morning and I was thinking, yesterday was actually one of my favorite days that I've lived on this planet. And every little bit, and I was just paying gratitude to every little bit and feeling just the reality of what can really, the power that we can share and tap into and remember within ourselves. Remember that spark, remember that life, remember our own gifts as we come together and share in this very authentic way. I think that has been my feeling from this weekend, and I felt it just again in Cornflower's deep prayer. Authenticity. When we show up in circle and we get real with ourselves and we're willing to be transparent, authentic, open to new, open to love, open to growth, open to our own rising up. In that space, there's a vibration that begins, and it's this vibration of spring. It's this vibration of today, whether you celebrate Easter or not, but it's a vibration of the new life. And I just see it like this. It's like when all of the cells start to move and the sun is shining, and yesterday there was the rain, and then the sun comes shining, and there's this new potential, this new possibility. And when we see it, when we step into presence with it, anything is possible. We can truly start to hold a new vibration within the holistic view. And as Cornflower was saying, yes, there are a lot of things happening in the world that do invoke the shadow side, yet that's just a small part of the magnificence in the light. And I think it's important during these times, during any time in our growth, to acknowledge all parts of our being. As we're coming together, that authenticity comes through the doorway of seeing the whole and loving into that. If we're trying to heal our bodies, we don't just pretend that everything's perfect, and we have to go and love into the emotional imprint that brought us to a place of dis-ease within our body, and love that and look into that. What brought this about? What were the conditions? Was I not loving? Was I holding anger? Was I holding hate in the human body? And as we love into that, as we heal, as we embrace the holistic part of our own being, then we can start to see true healing come about. And I think that is also as a collective, as a human family, as a world family, we are coming to this point where we are faced with this question today. If we truly want to rise up, to feel this new life as a human family, as an earth family, as a cosmic family, can we truly acknowledge all the parts of us, even the parts that we might not want to look at, as important bits of medicine and wisdom for us to look at. Even the shadow side is calling us to more love. And the joy and the bliss, can we actually let it in? Or has it been serving us to not let the bliss, to not let the joy, to not let the celebration in? Maybe it's been serving us. So can we truly come to this day in our wholeness? And I think when we can accept all parts of our being and not feel like we need to partition ourselves, the part that looks at the news, the part that looks at the joy, the part that celebrates and dances around, the part that's sad, can we actually encompass the whole? Then we will feel the potential of this day. Whatever we celebrate, there's great spirit in this, in the symbolism of this day. So that's what I feel, and thank you for letting me voice that. I don't think I've ever spoken to kind of the symbolism of Easter, and it feels really interesting to step into that space at this time.
I think you and Cornflower both have a alternate reality or possible future as ministers, really, because you both are ministering to us. And I use the word minister because you both are ministering today by being clear channels for spirit to flow through and putting into words very important thoughts for our collective, for our global peace tribe at this time. Beautiful, both of you. Just beautiful. But don't stop playing music. Don't stop playing
Maybe
music.
our next one is Sonic Source
couldn't do that.
Activation, Ministry of Music.
I love it.
I'm gonna add a couple of our other people. I'm gonna read some of the comments coming in because I really want to, especially on the Sacred Sunday show. This is where I really like to include our Zoom room audience and our Unify audience. And there's already some lovely comments that have come in. Wanda, who's a regular, writes, Christian, it's hard not to compartmentalize. It's a constant work in progress just to be authentic, transparent, and loving. And she then adds that the three of us are ministers and have been for quite some time. Moses also writes, they are ministers with their music. Dorina writes, Easter, Passover, Pasco are the ultimate invitation to awaken from separation, to die to all that is false, and to transcend the fear and altogether acknowledge our humanity, to embrace our unity and express our beautiful love in ways we have never done before. Boom. Our people are on fire today. This is beautiful. Melinda writes, Easter to me, rising, resurrection, and recycling. Taking the abuse, the hurt, and the lessons learned that we were witness to, and washing it all clean. If no longer needed. Rainbows from the storm, mostly remembering the importance of our biological kin that is everything in the world. So, thank you, and I will continue to read some of the comments, and that's just beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to ask Tangela what this time means to her, and then I think it'll be time for a little music with Omushar, and what this time means to him as well. But Tangela, I am putting the spotlight on you.
Thanks, Scott. So I didn't really grow up with the Easter tradition, but I think, for me, the resurrection, the crucifixion, the resurrection, like Marianne Williamson said yesterday, all of us, each one of us goes through our own crucifixions. And, those can lead to the awakening, the rising, the moving forward. In the Sufi tradition where I come from, we say that it's the blows on the heart that breaks our heart open. And that's what's so important for me for this time, for this really magical time that we've been spending together all weekend, is to really see, we have these really difficult times that we've been going through in the world these last 2 years. And even now with everything happening with the wars and violence. And, we can look at them with horror and despair, or we can look at them and say, these are crucifixions happening for all of us in our global consciousness. And it's a time for us to understand really the pain and the struggle that comes from that, and come into a new time of awakening for each one of us as individuals and for us as a global community. And so it's really a powerful moment for me to be coming together with all of you and sharing this experience, because, each one of us has been going through our own personal challenges and obstacles and crucifixions these last 2 years, including myself. And then, but being able to come forward on the other side, really in a new space with new love and a new understanding of who each of us are as individuals, and then who we are as a community, to really understand what unity is, because unity is unconditional love and being in the one heart. And sometimes it takes us to see, the difficulties and the despair and the tragedy, to then really come forward and understand with true divine compassion and true frequencies of love, what does it mean to really have and hold unity consciousness? And so that's what this day really means for me, is this beautiful coming together, a new understanding and a new awakening of unity consciousness, of unconditional love, and of all of the frequencies of divine compassion that we can hold and we do hold in every moment.
Beautiful. I love too that you come from the Sufi tradition. My favorite form of dancing is Sufi dancing. I love Sufi dancing. Whoops, that's Chief Phil. I'm going to turn it over to you guys to talk, because I want to see what Chief Phil has to say. So I've got to mute.
Beautiful. Kristen, what was Omashar going to play some music?
Yeah, I
what we
think
were
that
going to
would
do
be
next?
a beautiful time to share some music. It feels right.
Yeah.
I know we're all ready for it on this beautiful Sunday. And Omashar, I have to say, every time I hear you play and feel your energy, you are filled with so much just love and presence, and your music really lifts my heart. Every single song I've ever heard you play, my heart just feels so grateful and open. So thank you for being with us today, and thanks for bringing your musical medicine to the space.
Thank you so much. And I feel so blessed today. And I'm back in Colorado. I've just been visiting my mom in England. She's getting ready for her transition. And so that's interesting. And I know that many of us over the last 2 years have been brutalized by our experiences, inner and outer. I know I have been. I was drop kicked and stamped on, and there was something that Greg Braden says, it's the steamroller of change. He will, the steamroller will come through your life and roll over you, and just in case anything that doesn't serve is not released from your body, set free, then the steamroller will go back and go over you again. And that happened to me this time. But the thing is, I don't connect myself to those experiences anymore, and it's phenomenal, because today to me is about ascension and resurrection within my own being, and my music is my ministry. And so this is my Easter song, and it's called Trust to Love. And on Friday night, Antoinette was there, Patou and Antoinette, and she is going through her challenges at the moment. And this is the song that I wished to have played to her, but I hadn't quite got my equipment set up yet. And so if you are listening, or you listen to this replay, Antoinette, this is also for you and for your heart. So here we go. life's the same. It seems my world is falling into the dust that gave it birth. Empty feelings find me deep in contemplation, waiting for the rise of Mother Earth. And we all know what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true, and together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love once more. Walking through these fields of fear that bid for my attention, I don't live here anymore. I surrender to the flow that gives me new direction. All that's left to do is trust and fly. And we all know what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true, and together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love once more. A lo que vinimos es sincero, nuestro corazón. Lograremos ir a casa juntos, confiando otra vez en el amor. Thank you. It's so awesome to feel us all. Wow.
What a beautiful, beautiful day so far. I'm just really really grateful. I think Brother Phil is here, and so hopefully he'll be turning his camera on and joining us. And take your time, Brother Phil. While we wait for Brother Phil to turn on his camera, and I also am going to bring at some point, there he is. Well, actually, you know what? It looks like his camera's on, so I'm going to bring him on. So, hello, Brother Phil.
Yes, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, and there she is too, my dear Doja Christian.
It's so
Just
wonderful
giving a
to be
big
here
hug.
with you, Dexy. Big
Big
hug.
because you, because you.
Oh.
I'm actually down here in this whole area where I spent some of my life back in 1967, 68, and back in 73. It's right down in the Hollywood kind of area where I used to drive limousine and where I had all kinds of adventures. And so they're making a kind of a story and book and documentary of my life. And so we're down here, gathering all this different stories, and it's really quite something to be back and have all these memories come back, and really to understand things that many times I think that as we go along in life, if we're really focused on what's happening today, we really don't think about what it is we're doing. I mean, other than we're trying to follow principles, we're trying to do the best we can to be good human beings. We go through our times where we make mistakes, where we learn and so forth. But really, in terms of the overall context of, what's all this about in the long run, I don't think it's till you get older, and maybe, others do it younger. But for me, it wasn't until I began getting older that I began to understand. And I'm sure Scott's the same. I mean, you begin to understand, okay, these things happen. They begin to fit together. Oh,
Wow.
I didn't know I was doing that because of this or that. But you
Do you
were.
feel like as you go back through these life stories, you're learning almost the full lessons and wisdom from them as you're revisiting them from a new point of view?
Yeah, you're learning them much more deeply. I mean, things that may have seemed more complex or difficult to understand at this point, are just pretty easy. If we, whether it be human beings or families or communities or nation states or organizations, whatever, you build them on materialistic values that typify, a lot of the old paradigm, greed, survival of the fittest, all those different things that have led to this society where you have, the extremes of wealth and poverty. Whenever that happens, we can continue this. And I think that what's happening is that people are realizing it doesn't have to be like that.
Yes.
We don't have to, that there's another way to do this. And I think that's to me, as we, here we are at a time, I want to just reflect, also on this time of sacrifice, this time of Easter, the time of rebirth, but also the time of sacrifice when Jesus was crucified. And it's really interesting because the many indigenous people, Ocheti Chikoan from my mother's side, the Chickasaw Nation, became very, very devout Christians. Of course, they were not allowed to practice their own spirituality because of treaty, and they were really had no choice. But for them, it wasn't a practice of the theology, because you remember they couldn't speak English. What moved them and attracted them was the life, the person, Jesus, who gave up his life to travel and help the people, and who stood up against the woman who they were stoning because she committed adultery, and he says, no, let those that stand throw the first stone. They saw how he threw out the moneylenders where they were where they were disrespecting the sacred place, which they understood. But I think most of all, they really identified with the fact that his parents had to run with him for fear of being killed, because what was happening to them, of course, was the military. And how, though, that by having faith, even when he was crucified and when he said, "Oh Father, forgive them for what they do," he still asked for their forgiveness. So forgiveness, they realized, was the only way out of this. So they were very, 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 very religious and understood that sacrifice uh, for something greater than ourselves. In the end, you become greater than yourself.
Yes.
You become greater than yourself. And so I say this because there's a lot of still not good feelings between what I call churchianity, not Christianity. But churchianity, and really, just like you can find in Judaism, whatever you can find these dialogues. I see sometimes where some of the relatives get hung up in literal translation, because spiritual things have infinite meaning. But sometimes people can get caught up so much in the social teachings, which differ from time to time. They get caught up in social teachings, how you dress, how you, what you cut your hair, don't cut your hair. To me, that's more of a social teaching that differs from time to time.
Yes.
But people get lost in that and forget the spiritual teaching, which is kindness, love, compassion, all those dimensions.
Yes, and we can end up arguing over details, right?
Exactly.
We all know that the minute we start to talk about details and our memory of details, whether you're in relationship or with a friend or family or extended community, that is an invitation for argument, and then for arguments to build into much deeper situations. But if we can appreciate the wisdom from all of these different important teachings from I would say the organized religious pathways, all have important teachings and stories to share. And like you're saying, Chief Phil, if we can really get into the core essence of what these stories and these teachings and these experiences are trying to convey, then we can rise above any argument with each other over details, over differences in beliefs, and we can really get to a much higher place where we are bridging together. We are experiencing the oneness of a core truth, of a core bond,
Right.
with our human brothers and sisters and all of life.
Right.
And yes, I think you bring up something so important here.
Yeah. And I think it's important too, as we realize that we are, in a way, in a war, in this third world war, what do you want to call it? Because we have this biological war going on. And I'm not going to get into foundations of where, but the fact is, this is being utilized in different ways to divide division and disunity, which is not good for anybody. But then you have also the whole information war, so to speak. Where you can't really believe one thing or another. I mean, if it's to be true or not be true. So you have that going on. Then you have the conventional war, going on, like you see happening in Ukraine, in many places in the world. You have that actual thing happening. Then you have economic war going on. And we can see that, and really, that's kind of endangering everybody. Then you have in a religious war, a spiritual warfare going on, interfaith, spiritual warfare going on. And you have cyber warfare going on, warfare going on. So you have, what I'm saying is that we really believe that that people are awakening, that that the way time is passing and the way the prophecies are very clearly foretelling that there will come, that peace on earth is coming on earth. And we see the beginning step is binding peace treaty. And we really do see that coming by 2030. And the reason we see it from visions people have had in this surety, this kind of this, I don't know, this well, just like a, it's, it's like a feeling of being the core of your being. You can see it, you can feel it, you can taste it. And I'll give you a scenario, and I don't mean to go on too long here, but I think it's important that we think about this. Here we go. Here we are in Russia, and I almost see it's almost a proxy war, in a certain way, between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. And here's all this killing going on back and forth, and deeper, more and more weapons being thrown into it, budgets going up, domestic issues not being addressed. All kinds of things. Prices going up for a lot of people who are, just perhaps making it now. They don't have enough. This is real stuff. Supply chains, all these kind of things. We don't know how it's going to affect that's happening. You see a whole different realignment going on of the ruble and all these kind of things. And then, China, without question, they have a stated purpose. They're going to take Taiwan. And that's just the way it is. Now, do they wait until we get so engaged in this Ukraine thing? Because it could get serious. If they keep pressing it, it could get serious. Mm. And it's going to get serious as it is. It's serious with all these people, but you don't even know anymore because of the information what's true and what's not true. I got to tell you that, you hear so many different stories.
Yeah, that is a very hard part of it all these days. Is just, and I've come actually out to the other side where I, as a being who is trying my best to evolve amidst all of this, right. I have found this place of embracing the unknowingness as a part of the healing. So being willing and able to be present to it all and listen and feel and take it in, and then acknowledge the things that feel to be truth, to be important in our own path, to realize the teachings for our own lives and for those, and how we're going to apply them into our lives. And then also being willing to not say, I know, and be one who charges in and say, I know this is what's happening. And can we actually take a step back in our observation and also hold that space of the, I don't know, and not feel like we have to say, oh, this is what's right. This is what's happening. There's like a balancing. I think that's what we're in a point of balancing. And finding that balance is not easy. And there's days where we're going to go to one side or the other. But ultimately, if we each are working on what is it like to rise, I think, into this next level. And I was going to ask you, speaking of rising into the next level, so as we are immersed in these different vibrations and expressions of war, as you were speaking, and I think that was so perceptively shared, there's really almost different realms and different expressions of war happening all over our planet. And it can literally pull us all down. So if we're going to get to this place where we can truly embrace and feel and sign a peace treaty together that we all understand, that we step up and say yes, what is kind of the balm of this space? How can we, what is your feeling into, like you said, the forgiveness that came about, that you expressed before? How can we get to that space where we can actually start to be encoded with this new level of peace?
That's why we kind of have these three interrelated things. That really at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the whole thing is the full realization, the full sense and embrace of the reality of the prior unity, meaning from the very beginning, and oneness of our human family and all life. And the hurt of one is the hurt of all, and the honor of one is the honor of all. That's the foundation, that we are one human family. That all of us who are existing in this plane of time and space each of us a part of the same family. Now, behind this plane of time and space, each of us is also a sovereignty, ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. But that dimension of ourselves is not part of, nor does this plane of time and space determine it, nor somehow, somehow if it's this thing of time and space ceases to exist, it goes back and reforms. It does not impact the soul or the part of us, the sovereignty, which is free and severed from all save but the Creator.
And how can we really start to call forth this remembrance of this space of the sovereignty, and also really understand that in calling it forth doesn't equal separation, equals a holistic weaving. And I think that's a misunderstanding.
Exactly, yeah. Because really, it's about a feeling of oneness. Now, I can understand how in our journey, how we can get lost from that feeling of connectedness to the all. I mean, it's something we gain and something we fall back from. But I think more and more as we walk this spiritual path as good as best we can, and we try to yes, we do get hurt, and we hurt ourselves, and we do have parts of ourselves that I know if we really look at, especially when I went through this whole thing where I came close to death for those some weeks, you really look at a lot of kind of unfinished business. You can see where you could have done better, but you can only do what you can do. Yes. And that's where we have to be able to say, okay, you can only do what you can do, and carrying around a lot of extra guilt and shame does not help at all. It just doesn't. I mean, the Creator's ever forgiving. The Creator's with you every step of the way. As long as you yourself, between you and the Creator, have shared and asked forgiveness truly from the Creator, that's where the love and forgiveness comes. It doesn't come from you to me or me to you. It comes from the Creator. That's where it comes from. It has to be something in the soul. Now, the fact that you can go to somebody else and say, gee, Toshi, I'm sorry, I should have been more attentive about that thing, or I misstated that, of course. Anyway, those are some of the things that I think that are exciting. And the last thing is that we're really underway on our film Vision of the Ages, which comes out of Tata's Shift the Age, I think I mentioned before. And we have a lot of trailers and things which I'll send along, which you'll all be able to share. I think you'll be pleased, and it's very exciting. So we're shooting already, and we'll be putting things out as we go. Because what I'd say is this: we are in the fulfillment of the prophecy right now. Right now, it's not tomorrow. Right now, all those relationships are coming together. Right here, at this gathering, right here in this last 3 days. It's happening. The networks are building. We are the change we want to see.
Yes.
That's what's happening.
Is this film that you're speaking of the same one that you are telling your stories and go? Is this the same one you were talking about?
Yes. It really builds on Shift of the Ages with Don Alejandro and myself, where I was really reflecting the eagle, and he the condor, and he's getting his staff of authority. But then we take it from there, that staff of authority, and saying, okay, what are the steps needed to actually accomplish peace by 2030? Okay, one which is we're going to be working with in fact, really warm you invite yourself, and you think about who else. We feel that one of the key is women. Yes. That there's no question the spirituality is women and men are equal in every way. I mean, physiologically, yes, men can run farther, although there's a lot of women can run further than men, but by and large, there's a physical difference between that way. But any other way, in fact, women are superior other ways, I think. Um, but that issue of how we really, in a way, manifest that spirituality in a physical way is a key to world peace. You cannot have world peace as long as over 50% of the world's population is being oppressed. Now, what's the positive side of oppression? Yes. Okay, I'll be in a little bit. So what do you find? The positive side of that. The positive side of that is that, and this includes Indigenous people themselves, but I think any women of you'd say who overall get oppressed, like Jewish people get oppressed, or Jewish women, or Indigenous women, or women. But through that oppression, through the oppression of men over all these years, when you're oppressed like that, you gain certain qualities, you gain certain gifts, you gain certain qualities, and that's a fact. And so I think that's why I think women can read men much better than men understand. I think they can read men much better than men can read themselves. I think that women are smarter than men collectively. Yeah, there's very, very smart men who are smart in certain ways, but really about thinking and bringing things together, making things happen. I think women are smarter. Not every woman, by and large. And so what I really believe, and that's why we did this ceremony, you were right there over in Armageddon. There was 22 women.
Yes. Oh, it was so powerful. One of the most incredible experiences.
Yeah, but when we did take on the forces of darkness. That's a fact. We did that. That was our purpose, to end war. That was exactly what it was. 22 women. But why? Why did I facilitate that? Because it's women who are going to be the ones to step forward and take these on. It's for us men, and that's why the thing I love about Scott. He's been so gracious in ensuring that, and the whole team, in women's voices, in their voices be heard, and they be treasured. And I respect that, because there are a lot of good men. I got to say, a lot of good men that are learning and want to support this. That's how I see it.
There's 4 right on this screen.
Right here.
Chief
Phil,
Phil,
I've gone on long, but I'm going to say, this is why the 22 women continue to pray. And now in Palenque, here they are. Palenque, they just had the ceremony. It was with them. They're going down into Guatemala. We have the big thing happening with Shri and Kira down in Ecuador. These things are just moving like everything. And you have this incredible program. So again, sacrifice. Yeah, sometimes, they say, do you think you say you believe and will not be tested? Yeah, we'll be tested. And we have a pretty big vision, all of us. We have a vision of seeing world peace. That's our vision. Because I don't think anything else will suffice. So that's a big vision. So you're going to have a few tests on the way.
I also feel very inspired that you're in this action of almost a living life review, both of your own lessons learned and then the symbolism of the lessons that you had to go through. And I love that on this day, can we actually be encouraged to do our own living life reviews? And then as a collective, can we do a community and a planetary life review? And what does that have to offer if we can do that while we're still here?
Right, exactly. And really, to me, it's like, exactly that. What do we need to do? What is really needed right now? What do we need to do? Well, for one thing, I think that this sharing, and networking. But I really, really would like, the main thing I'll put a bookmark here, is that to unify our human family in war and begin peace on earth by 2030. I want to invite you to consider using that mantra with us. Yeah.
Phil, thank you so much for being with us. And
Yeah.
I wanted to bring onto camera some of the other wonderful people. You know, you talk about the women. I want to introduce you to a wonderful new member of our team. This is Tanjila Islam. And she comes from a Sufi background, and I was so excited when I learned that. And she's the creator of the Soul Search, which brings community together, Phil. And you are such a important part of our community, and you are also a world bridger. You are all about bringing the condor and the eagle together and bringing different nations together. So I wanted you to meet Tangela.
Honored to
And
meet you.
also, we have with us today, you talk about beautiful men. I just want to acknowledge Cornflower, who is an incredibly heart-based man, and Omashar, another beautiful heart-based man. And then going back to the women that we honor and appreciate, of course, Kristen. And this is Robin Streichler. Robin is going to be our co-collaborator on next weekend's Earth Day show. She's been bringing in some really amazing people for Earth Day. So just really wanting to acknowledge all the incredible people that make up the Global Peace Tribe. Um, and and all of our beautiful guests. Here's Christy Michaels. I'm putting Christy on camera for a minute. Christy is hosting this big Mary Magdalen event every year. I think 12 years in a row now. She does on Easter a Mary Magdalen event honoring the feminine side of the story. That, of course, obviously the what did you call it, churchianity, um, right? Is churchianity.
Actually, it's fulfilling a prophecy that's in the.
Um, uh, Go ahead, Christy. But you gotta mute so that we don't have an echo. You're muted, Christy. Um, and this isn't important just while she's doing this. We really want to encourage people to attend her event today. It's at 4 o'clock Pacific time, and it's honoring Mary Magdalene. She's got amazing presenters and dancers and music. Nina Gray, who you heard on Saturday Night Live last night on The Awakening World, is going to be singing. And so that's going to be a very special event taking place later today. Cornflower, I know that you said that you had some things you wanted to share. We'll come back to Christy once she gets everything together. We lost Phil and we lost Cornflower.
Oh,
Oh, there he is. Okay, great.
here we go. Can you see me?
Yeah, now we can.
There we go. Yeah, I just I got so inspired. I've heard and listened to Chief Phil Lane Jr. on multiple occasions and connected to him through friends, but we've never met in person. And it was a real honor to hear him share. And Kristen, thank you for your weaving of his sharing and the way that you helped ground and clarify and bring attention to specific things he shared and sort of dive deeper into topics. And I just wanted to riff off of that a little bit because this is actually topics that have been going on since the beginning of this Sacred Sunday. One of the things that in my worldview is that everything happens for a reason. And, in the initial prayer that I shared or that was shared through me, I spoke on, the stuff going on in the world and then, all of that's happening in the universe, the thriving that is happening at all times around all of this. And, it's really important in my life to see shadow as not a separate thing from light. They are together. They work hand in hand, and the shadow is showing up in our world, the reason why it's showing up isn't because we can't transform it. It isn't because it is impossible to move through. It's happening because it is the next step. It's the answer to our prayers. A lot of times when we call for or attract in something that we want, what shows up first is usually the thing limiting us from getting that. And so when we call for peace in the world, what's going to show up? Everything that isn't in alignment with peace, so that we know where to focus our attention. We know where to put our love and our healing and our awareness. And that's bringing the light into the shadow. So the shadow's there as a gift for us to really dive into. It's the opportunity for us to go in and find within it the medicine, the message. And I spoke a little bit earlier also about, when things happen in the world, it's easy to feel disempowered because we're so distant. It's like, governments and seems so massive, and the scale is so beyond this one whole on of my sovereign life and how I can actually contribute to something on that scale. And I was blessed to run the first Indigenous Elders Council at Earth Dance in 2006 with my partner, Nikita Gehring. And when we were leading this circle, we were blessed to have Arun Gandhi, who's the grandson of Mohandas Gandhi. And he's just an incredible man in his own right, and is carrying great wisdom. And one of the things he talked about was his summers with his grandfather and the teaching that he taught him, which I find to be the most direct and empowering response to physical violence that's happening on the planet, whether it be shootings happening, in different locations or wars, is actually recognizing the passive violence that we perpetrate within our minds and our hearts with our beliefs of ourselves and our projections onto others, which I find comes from a disconnect to knowing who we truly are. And it's not that you know who you truly are and all of a sudden never forget. It's a balancing act of remembering. And so when things come up that are like, I'm not enough, that person's ugly, this person isn't good enough, oh, I can't do that because of this, or this. What we're doing is those are passively violent. It's like passive violence onto ourselves and others. And it creates a field of energy that produces physical violence. And when he shared that, it just landed so deeply in my heart. I went, I can do something. I have the power in my life to continually remember that I am divine, that I am a gift of love in this world. And that every time something shows up, a shadow side of my thought, of my feeling, anything that shows up in the world is an opportunity for me to come back within and go, I am enough. I am powerful. I am a creator. I am a vessel of love. I'm an instrument of love. And not just saying the words, but really contemplating and breathing and feeling your uniqueness. There's no one like any of us who are watching us. This whole planet, every single human being is unique. And you can tell because there's no one else who has the same eyes as you, no one else who has the same vocal cords as you, no one else who has the same fingerprints as you. We literally are this special, unique voice onto this earth and have the potential to bring, we're here for a reason, and all these things are happening for a reason, and we're seeing them for a reason, and we're reacting to them for a reason. And so if we can remember that, and remember that this is actually the opportunity to create the peace, isn't just in the prayer for peace, but then in the response to what shows up after the prayer has been spoken, and how we respond and act in those moments is the most empowering opportunity. When all of this stuff is going on in the world, we see these images and sound bites and divisions and separations, to really see the opportunity that's being provided by the universe through these expressions of the shadow. And so that's one of the things I wanted to share. So I'd love to free it up for the rest of the group.
Wow. Thank you, beautiful Brother Cornflower. I'm going to bring on Kristen too. I see her very touched.
Wow, I feel every fiber of that sharing. Thank you, Cornflower. That was so, it was just spoken from such a deep, clear place. And I just fully receive. I could not feel in more alignment with what you just shared. And thank you. You took it to another octave. And I really, you did. Yet it was so rooted. And wow. I think you
Well,
just
it,
gave us the exact keys in such a loving way of how to not deny our shadow, not to deny the shadow that's all around us, but how to incorporate that into the blessing of our growth. And I think that's one of the hardest things for us to get to as human souls evolving is why is there this darkness? You know, we constantly are asking the why. Why? And if we're spiritual beings and if there is a creator, why is all of this happening? And you know, when we go to watch a movie, when we're removed like that, we understand the necessity of the villain to show the characters how to reach their epiphanies, and we understand the arc of the movie and why it has to be like that to get to the growth at the other end or the realizations
hero's
at the other
journey.
end. But in the movie of our own lives, it's not so easy because we're so we're so involved. And I think you just really spoke so beautifully to how we can be more present to the wholeness of it all.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
love
It's one of the pieces that's always like, is we can pinpoint all the things that are going on in the world really easily. They're all right there as a huge laundry list of them. But then how do we find empowerment in that? How do we find our power in these moments and become aware that we are powerful and that we can be empowered in these moments? And a lot of times it's all about look at that, and there's not the, well, what do we do about it? And praying for peace. I like I said earlier, prayer, the Gandhi quote, which is just super powerful to me, because when I really started coming into my power was through the work of James Twyman and him doing his global peace vigils, and going into these areas and having these collective prayers where people came together and collectively focused our intention, which is kind of the next level of this for me. And there's something else that I wanted to speak on, which is, we're talking in the context of these holy days that we're currently in the midst of. And one of the things about that is, different people have different beliefs. And I studied with Jose Arguelles, which was all about challenging the paradigm of how we view time, Gregorian calendar, the clock. And one of the greatest gifts that it gave me was to question these days. Where do they come from? Where do they emerge from? What are their purpose? And also see the power of the human collective agreement. And so what I mean by that is, for instance, let's use New Year's Eve, for example. There's literally no astronomical anything. There's no root to that day other than the Gregorian calendar. And the Gregorian calendar date has no root to anything earthly, sun, moon, nothing. There's zero connection to anything real. So, but at the same time, I know myself, I feel the energy of the completion of a year and the beginning of a new, just because millions and billions of people have collectively agreed to celebrate that in that moment. So just as we're doing today with Easter and Passover, all these different, Ramadan, there's all these different traditions. And when there's billions of people all synced to all these different beliefs of this day or this weekend or this time. And so I think that showcases how powerful we truly are when we collectively agree on something. And so, I think there's something to be said about, how can we collectively agree that we are already here in this moment in peace? We're just having to learn to fully live it. and to fully embody it. Because I think there's enough people now who know, who are aware, have the tools, but there's so many opportunities for distraction, both within and without, that pull us away from the living of that, or the returning to coherency in the midst of all of it. You guys have anything to vibe off of that?
Yes. Amen, brother Cornflower. I actually want to read some of the comments coming in from our
Great, yeah.
viewers. And then I'd love to hear if Tangela has anything she wants to add.
Yeah, I would love to hear.
Dorina just wrote, "Thank you, Cornflower, for this great perspective on the shadow and its role in our wholeness journey, as well as the reminder to always turn within to embrace the inner peace in order to invoke and manifest the outer peace. So true, wise, and timely. Gratitude also for your music and wisdom, and for Kristen as well." Thank you, Dorina. And Dorina's coming to us all the way from South America, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Christy Michaels says, "Yes, collective agreement for peace." Moses writes, "Thank you, Cornflower, for speaking a beautiful message. I heard in 1980 from Dadaji in Calcutta, India, and to hear you say this truth again, oh my gosh, change is upon us." And I want to acknowledge some of the people watching on Unify. There's a wonderful woman named Catherine Allen who's been writing some wonderful comments. So I'm going to choose some of hers. She says, "Forgiveness is for giving. We're becoming one. Realization is present in all. World peace lives here and now within us all. Yes, presence is present powerfully here and now on this platform." So thank you very much, Catherine. Tangela, is there anything that comes up for you you'd like to share?
Well, Cornflower, thank you so much for your beautiful and eloquent and heartfelt sharing. That was really amazing to hear you express in that way. Just this journey of remembrance that we're all on together. And I think that's what really this is about. And that journey of remembrance is also just loving every part of who we are. And that includes our shadow side. And I think you so beautifully put it, that we have a tendency to judge, starting with ourselves, starting first and foremost with ourselves, and then out into the world when we feel, oh, things are not in alignment. But it's really beginning to understand and realize that, the shadow is part of who we are. It's part of we have to have experience of the darkness in order to truly understand and know what is the light. And so, and it's that process of rebirth that's happening for each one of us and as a global community. And what's happening in the macrocosm is happening individually to each of us in the microcosm. So really appreciate the way that, you express that for all of us. And I think it's just beautiful that, we're on this journey together, because I think it can be very disheartening for all of us as individuals when we look out in the world and we're completely powerless to do anything with what's happening out there. And, where do we even begin? But then it becomes a very empowering message, which is, I think, was beautiful what you were saying, that actually the journey always starts from within. And as we begin to excavate our hearts and begin that process of remembering and of self-love in every moment of who we are, we can then truly begin to emanate that out into the world. And really, that's what this shift is all about. So really appreciate your words, and thank you. So thanks.
Well, I appreciate your words, sister, and love the codes that you have behind you. Those are so powerful. Where did you get those from? Those are outstanding.
Oh, they're from an artist. I'll tell you the name. Actually, Matt was asking about it yesterday too. Andre Balog.
Just stunning work.
Yeah, and very galactic, as well as the energies. And I think that's part of our, remembrance and, journey into unity, into our global, universal family, as well as our global family. So, sacred geometry helps us to also bring that into resonance. Thank you for recognizing that.
It's been beaming me the whole time. Like,
We normally end the show at 11:30, but we've still got several people that I want to honor and acknowledge. We've got some videos that were sent to us. Um, and so we're going to go till 12 noon today. I know that Cornflower, you need to leave by 11:55, so we'll come back to Cornflower at least one more time. But in kind of celebrating the 2 years of Global Peace Tribe, one of the things that we're really proud of is our fundraising. And we talked about that last night. But I had an idea. I'm going to play a video. Now, I promised Kristen and Cornflower they wouldn't have to play music today. They were just going to speak. But I've come up with a slightly clever way for us to still hear Kristen play. This is, we raise money. And during the last wildfire season, many of our friends in the Global Peace Tribe lost their homes due to the wildfires. And so we, every night we would, every Saturday night we would do a special fundraising for a particular person. And this is a really beautiful moment. There was a woman, she and her daughter had lost their home, and Kristen sang while people were donating to her. You'll see this mother and her daughter listening to Kristen singing and looking at photos of their home before and after the fire. It's very powerful and very touching, and kind of a sneaky way for us to get a little bit of hearing Kristen sing today. So here we go. I'm going to play this, and let's go to advanced video support. Yeah, it's really, really powerful. Very, very, very powerful.
No, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing for everyone. And it was really lovely to hear Redwood talk about his story. I feel like I'm really wanting to hear from other people who have gone through this type of thing, just to kind of grasp sort of the grief of it all.
And I'm going to fast forward now to, because she kind of talks a little bit. We see through, a little bit about her home and what she lost. But I'm going to go to now the part where Kristen actually starts to play.
An improv space, I envision that it's soul or light weaving with Om, the vibration of the universe. So Courtney, just sending this piece to you. And as I'm diving into this improv, I like to think that we are all consciously co-creating this piece together from our hearts. So just feel this music, and may it bring you some healing.
because we remember there's no fear tonight.
Kristen, you have been at the center of the two most amazing moments of Global Peace Tribe. I mean, it's just so powerful.
Oh, I remember that was such a powerful experience to just also feel like bringing through. I think music has that gift to heal in those really tragic moments of our lives. And I felt, wow, I have the opportunity to really bring through something right now that could be healing or a gift for those who are really going through something so intense and such a loss. And I think that might have been was that my first time on Saturday Night Live? I think maybe that was
Close. It was close.
close to the beginning.
First or second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's also really beautiful to just go back and remember just how powerful it was from the very beginning, entering into this space, how much healing has happened since day one on this program, and just so much gratitude for that. It's funny, I always have I hardly ever go back and listen to previous solo experiences because they're so powerful in the moment, and then I feel like, oh, if I listen back it might not be as powerful. But I felt something, there was such beauty, and it was actually like a surrendering, a letting go of my own fears of listening back by revisiting today too. So I feel grateful for that.
Yeah, thank you. Moses writes, "Good job, Scott. That was sneaky. I'm bawling my eyes out. And in the next breath, ecstasy and bliss and love." So
Yeah, my whole body is like in a state of such deep peace from listening to that. I'd never heard that before, that solo. And Kristen, you are a hole in the flute that the Christ breath moves through.
Whoa, I love that. A hole in the flute that the Christ breath moves through.
That's from a Hafiz quote. And it's like that you have a direct line, you completely get out of your own way. And just, that was so, it felt like collective tears were being sung into being. And so that everyone could feel not only the the loss, but then the renewal that births from that, and just pure magic. Thank you for being here and doing your thing. It's such a gift.
Thank you
I
so
want to
much,
read
brother.
3 more comments that have come in, then give Cornflower a chance to say goodbye. And then Lori Grace is here, and I want to introduce Lori to the audience. But some of the other comments that have come in from beloved Josiane in Florida. Thank you. I feel you, sister, within your heart-centeredness, showing up in your divine feminine, masculine oneness. That's from Josiane. Dorina writes, the beauty, power, and emotiveness of Kristen's voice, music, and energy are otherworldly, cosmic, and ecstatic. Absolutely. Dorina, Melinda writes, wow, this is such a beautiful Sunday. Yes, Roger, Kristen does have a voice of an angel. Dr. Fred, who, by the way, I need to talk about the event that I'm doing with Dr. Fred. He said, that was so remarkable and truly reset my interface with the world as it is. Thank you, Dr. Fred. And
Thank you, Dr. Fred. Thank you.
you know, on Dr. Fred, thank you. This is a good reminder. I will be co-hosting an event that Dr. Fred is putting together to raise money for the Ukraine. It's happening next Saturday, April 23rd. And it's the first of 3 events that he's putting together. It's going to go all day, April, from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening. I, of course, teach a class on Saturday mornings, but I am going to be hosting 1 hour from 2:30 to 3:30. Tatiana Speed is going to join playing music. Also, Travis is writing a song for this. And it's going to be very, very special. There's Dr. Fred, who's actually in the Zoom room with us right now. And so please join us. You can find out all about it by going to wethepeoplesummit.online. wethepeoplesummit.online. Wonderful speakers, presenters. And so definitely please do join us. Hey, I know that guy. So next Saturday, always so many wonderful special events taking place. We also will go back to Christy Michaels and talk about her Mary Magdalen event. But I know Cornflower needs to go, so I'm going to put the Cornflower back on for any final thoughts you want to share, brother.
I'm like an attention hog over here. I just when I'm given a mic to speak and I'm opened up in that way, it just like wants to pour through. And so thank you all for bearing with me as I have been given access to the podium. I hold it with such honor, and it's such a sacred thing to be amplified. And I just want to say thank you to Tangela. This is the first time we've met, and it was really lovely to get to meet you and to hear your heart share. And you know, Kristen, I just freaking adore you. You are such a gift to this world, and it's been such an honor to get to dance with you musically. And we still haven't met in person yet, which is just so bizarre. You know, I feel like we've known each other forever.
Totally. It's crazy and beautiful. I love it.
Isn't it? It's
I
so
love it.
amazing.
And it's going to be the best first hug of all time.
Oh, for
and
real.
Scott hopefully
Yeah.
is going to be in that hug, and we're going to do a huddle.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Big huddle.
We are going to
We're going to call Tangela in, and she's going to huggle
There we
with
go.
us too.
It's just we're all cuddling together.
Everyone together.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
will have Global Peace Tribe retreats. Certainly one in Asheville, North Carolina, at my friend Vanita Raggio's place. Certainly one in the Bay Area, probably my friend Matt Brown's place. And maybe in Maui at Lori Grace's beautiful estate. And Lori's in the house. We're going to bring her on in a moment. So we will be hugging each other in person, and absolutely the two of you are going to be the first people that I invite to the Global Peace Tribe retreats.
That'll be beautiful. And I do want to plant the seed. We are planning another sonic source activation, Cornflower and I, for sometime in June, probably towards the beginning, maybe the first weekend. So just hold that in your field, that another sonic source activation journey is going to be coming to you soon. And we would love to have you join us.
Cornflower, I know you need to go, but I'm going to invite Kristen and Tangela to stick around. I want to introduce our audience to some very special people. First off, we're going to go to Lori Grace in a moment, but first off, they are. It's Dr. Future and Mrs. Future, and they are who create all the wonderful videos that you see, the ones that we always start the show with. And they're at their beautiful home in Boulder Creek, Colorado. Oh my God, look at this gorgeous spring day.
Yeah, Boulder Creek, California, here near Santa Cruz in the mountains, the Santa Cruz Mountains. And it is a beautiful Easter Sunday morning, and it's so wonderful to hear you all. Kristen's music and Cornflower's words of wisdom. It's a beautiful way to start the day.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are so magical and heartful and profoundly moving, and very appreciated.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention that last night I understand there was an epic moment with Kristen's music, and sorry we missed that, but we were at an epic event ourselves, and I'm kind of curious to see what happened at the same time that the magic was happening on with you guys, as this was a gathering called the Universe in Verse, and it was a world-class scientists.
Well, it was hosted by Maria Popova, and it was an incredible pageant of poetry performed by scientists from all over the country, and it was just an incredible offering of words dedicated in art to a deeper understanding of our humanity. And I'd say it's very compatible with all the things that we do here on the Global Peace Tribe gatherings.
And one of the amazing things was that most of the scientists were women. There were hardly any XY chromosomes on the stage, which was quite remarkable. And so there was a lot of spirituality in science, which I had never seen before. It was seeing the universe as a living universe, for example, was a common theme. It was all about what is life on the most magical, profound levels.
Yeah. And of course, our assignment, Alan and I, Dr. and Mrs. Future, is kind of always not even just in the present moment, but in the present moment as it extends into the future. And so here we are once again with our toe in the door, welcoming the exquisite age of Aquarius and the flowering of humanity that is before us, bringing with us all of the jewels of the past that have been given to us to share with each other in this time. And
a true renaissance happening.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you, Dr. and Mrs. Future, for all the wonderful ways you support our world, that you support the Global Peace Tribe, the great videos you do. They are putting together the edited segment of the magical moment that took place with the twin Ray and Kristen last night. Wait till you guys watch it. It's unbelievable. It really is my favorite moment all time of Global.
Wow. I can only imagine.
Yeah,
I mean, I was just moved by the replay of Kristen just now.
Yeah.
And Kristen and Twin Ray together in last night's show with all of you doing such an incredible collecting of our shared prayers for the world.
And it's so beautiful to see so many of us on our path here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to gallery review and invite everybody to twinkle. Alan and Son, Dr. and Mrs. Future. Thank you so much for all that you guys do. I love you guys so very, very, very much. All right, I want to introduce Lori Grace. Lori is one of my oldest friends. I've known her for over 35 years, and she supported several of the episodes of Saturday Night Live last year, and is also supporting our Earth Day weekend next weekend. And here she is. Hello, Lori. Welcome to our Sacred Sunday show.
Thank you.
And, last year you supported some of our Indigenous elder wisdom. You put together an amazing show on brain health, which we really appreciated. And of course, you've now supported 2 years in a row our Earth Day show. Is there anything you'd like to share that's alive in your heart on this Easter Sunday?
Well, first of all, I appreciate what you're doing here, and it stimulated me to come to more sponsorship, and then additionally, I'm very happy to be opening up both Sunrise Center in Corte Madera and Haleakua both. We're really finding a gigantic need from people for person-to-person community and connection. And so that happens both in Corte Madera, where I'm starting to teach embodied compassion communication on Tuesday night. And we did a Watsu class at my place in Tiburon. And in Hawaii, there are just so many people celebrating moving out of COVID and longing to be in touch with each other and to touch each other. And, so I'm happy that we can address that. So when you mentioned, that you'd like to consider doing something in Maui, I'm happy to hear that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally am holding the vision. Lori has a beautiful, probably one of my favorite places. Hello, Sam. One
Hi,
of my favorite
Scott.
places to
He
look.
watches a lot of your shows.
I've seen every show for
consistently.
2 years, and I cried again when Kirsten sung. And that's why I've subscribed to every season. Thank you, Kirsten. Not many musicians can make me cry. I love you.
Oh, I love you so much too.
Yeah, stay there.
Thank you. Just feeling that resonance, and that's exactly what you just expressed, and just feeling you right now is what makes me get up every day and want to continue on this journey, because it's about the sharing, and it's about the music being a powerful catalyst to remind you of your gift and Lori's gift and Scott's gift. And I think that's what we're all doing here. We're here to re-spark each other. And so I just feel, and I receive that you felt re-sparked in the music, and I'm so grateful. Thank you. Love, love, love.
Love, love, love.
And thank you, Sam, because you represent the most important part of the Global Peace Tribe, our audience, and so that you watch this every weekend, that means so much to me. And knowing that other people are crying during Kristen. When Kristen plays, it's a problem because I'm supposed to host the thing and I can't talk. I literally couldn't talk last night after her experience. So, and we all are playing our role in beautiful ways. I'm going to bring Tangila back on. Everybody is playing our own roles in beautiful ways. Tangila creating this amazing opportunity for our community to come together online. Lori bringing people together in person, which of course is so important. Kristen's music. Sam, the wonderful ways I know that you serve our world. I appreciate it. And good Lord willing, hopefully we are going to start being able to gather in person. I see Mark is suggesting that we meet in San Diego at the Vision Center for Spiritual Living. And yes, Mary, I'm still going to bring Marcy Scheimoff her video message on. That's what we're going to conclude with. So hang in there. Well, thank you. Thank you, Lori. Love you so much. And Lori, I'm going to bring on Robin Streichler since you're helping to support our Earth Day show next weekend. And our Earth Day show is going to be wonderful. This is Robin, who is my collaborative partner. I collaborate with different people. I collaborated with Lori on the Brain Show. I'm going to collaborate with Tangila. The first weekend of June, we're going to do a whole show together on Soul Search. And Robin is who I'm collaborating with on Earth Day next weekend. So Robin, do you want to take a moment to tell people what's going to be happening next weekend?
Absolutely. And thank you, Scott. And just so much gratitude for this show. Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're on. You're good.
Oh, thank you. So much gratitude for this show and all the lives it has touched for the 2 years of this pandemic. And I truly believe all of you and the musicians and the artists and the transformational leaders have definitely brought us closer to the tipping point of consciousness that will lead us to world peace and a healthy environment for all. And we all know that we have enough resources. This earth is a gift to all of us. It has everything we need. I just read about the Native Americans saying, you know, every ailment has an herb. This, you know, this world is filled with everything we need, and we only need to open our eyes and see what the true earth really looks like. I don't say the new earth, I say the true earth. As like Michelangelo had chips away at the marble to reveal the statue, we are chipping away at the illusions of darkness to reveal the true earth. And part of that is what we're going to explore next week as we see the people who are connecting deeply to the true earth, the true animals, elements, living things that create this abundant, beautiful world. And we invite you to join us. It's going to be sacred. And I am putting on a transformational scene reading from a screenplay I wrote in the after show. And the purpose of that, the purpose of me learning to be a writer that could bring a story of transformation to a mainstream audience, is to bring that vision of a positive world to our art, to our writing, to our music, to bring that to the greater population. So hope you'll join us for the whole weekend. And I can't thank Scott enough, and Deborah, for starting Saturday Night Alive, and then now the awakening world, the awakening true world. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Looking forward to being with you all next weekend. Thank you so much. And she's got some wonderful people who are going to be joining us, so it's going to be really cool. All right, I'm going to put the spotlight on Christy Michaels. Hopefully, Christy, if you can unmute yourself without us having an echo, because I really want to encourage people to come to Christy's event that's taking place today in honor of the Mary Magdalene. Welcome to the Magdalene Impact. And Christy, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, you can just click right in the middle on the Magdalene Easter celebration right there. And that'll take you to the page. This is the 12th annual Magdalene Moonrise Easter service, because sunrise is normally the masculine acknowledgement, and the moonrise is the feminine acknowledgement of the feminine Christos, Sophia, the rising of the Christ within all of us. And so you have to restore the divine feminine. If we're going to really have oneness, we need both coming together, right? And so we've got an awesome group of people. Elizabeth Kelly, who's in purple in the middle there, she is from the Holy Order of Mary Magdalene, and has created this incredible dance with Cara Luna that will just give you a peek behind the veil. Because that's what is happening, is we're fulfilling a prophecy, a biblical prophecy, nonetheless. It says there will come a time when we will remember and discuss who she is and what she has done. And this is what we do. We demonstrate that peace and that love and that joy. It's all a part of the awakening process. And you got a taste of it last night, Kristen. You nailed it. And what you did was straight out of A Course in Miracles. There's a sentence that says, all separation vanishes when you share that which is holy. For holiness is power. And as we share it, it gains in strength. And we were all sitting there like, wow, what happened? Because we as a culture do not get to sit in the strength of our holy power. But it takes sharing that holy power. It takes somebody invoking it and claiming it. And that's what this celebration from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock is all about. So thank you, Kristen, for doing that. I'm going to go back and watch the replay over and over, because I hope you make it as a single slice.
Alan and Son are editing it. It's downloading, and when they're giving us the thumbs up, they're going to edit it so it'll start with the twin ray and end with Kristen's words, love, love.
The world needs to see that, because as Cornflower said earlier, it was so beautiful what he was saying. When these dark, shadowy sides of ourselves arise, we have to be ready to love that. and let the light, you don't do anything to the darkness, you just turn on the light. And what happens to the darkness? But as the darkness arises, you have to bring the light. And usually most of us, we go, oh God, no, instead of, no, I'm going to shine brighter. I'm going to claim myself. Sometimes all you can do is say, I am here and I care. But, we do need to start this claiming process. We do need to join, because without the joining, without the gathering, there is no field. We have to create the field of love. And that was what was the magnificent demonstration. And Scott too, I'm so excited to hear what you're going to have to say, because he's doing the sacred masculine, and he is the one man on this planet who has probably seen and touched more compassionate men. He has called them forward to speak their truth, to share their wisdom, to let us see that sacred, holy men are rising, and they're joining with the divine feminine, who Scott has always loved and has always honored. But, he is calling them out of the woodwork, and for all of us to know. And other men, when they hear that and they see it, they go, oh, I guess it's okay to be a sacred masculine. Yes, because we aren't going to have the new earth without the sacred masculine awakening and joining and supporting the divine feminine. So thank you all so much. And I put the link. You just go to the gospelofmarymagdalene.info, and you can click on the button and join us. It's going to be fabulous. Right. Such a heart-rendering, open-hearted, joyous time yet again.
Thank you, Krista, for all that you do. You also put so much effort, and your events are always awesome.
Yeah, it's like I'm a crazy woman. I cannot not do it. She's speaking through me so much that I have to okay, I surrender.
Well, I will see you at 3:00 for our sound check, and of course for everybody else, it starts at 4:00 Pacific time, 7:00 Eastern time.
Thank you so much. Blessed be.
Thank you, Christy. You're such a beautiful spirit, so present, so embodied, so full of light and guidance. And I just love that you're listening to your path and really stepping into it fully. I can feel that, and it's just such a great honor to weave with you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. We're going to be talking actually, because I'm raising money to do a song with you that Magdalen wants to have manifest. Woo! And it'll be a viral go crazy when you hear what I have to say. So we'll be talking soon.
Okay. I look forward to that. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to read one more comment, and then we're going to hear from Marcy Scheimoff. And obviously we're not going to end at noon. We're going to go a little bit longer. How are you doing, Kristen? Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm feeling the need to take a little pee break for 1 second. So maybe you can.
I'm going to put a video on. So while I'm playing the video, you can we both might do a little.
We're all transparent here. I'm sharing this with you all. No more hiding. I'll go on my mini pee break and I'll be right back.
Okay, thanks. Michael Tiller writes, I would like to express so much love and gratitude for all the luminous faculty from the Global Peace Tribe. Everyone has touched me deeply. I am so grateful for everyone's dedication. Thank you, and maximum grace to all. Thank you, Michael. I think that sums up pretty well. Okay. Marcy Scheimoff is one of our dear, dear friends. And one of the things that happened is when we decided that we wanted to do this weekend celebrating 2 years, we sent out invitations to many of our friends, and everyone said yes. So honestly, a lot of the people that we that we've got videos from, we haven't even had time to play. Last night I was supposed to play Marcy Scheimoff and Jia Uttal and Carolyn Meese. Today I was supposed to show Andrew. Anyway, I am going to play this video from Marcy Scheimoff because she really captures very eloquently a perspective of what's taking place at this time on our planet. And then we are going to hear Julian Lennon play Imagine. So that's going to be pretty special. Anyway, here we go. Let's take a look here. And of course, Marcy Scheimoff is a best-selling author. She's very beloved. and she's all about creating miracles. Marcy, thank you so much for being part of our anniversary weekend. And
of course, happy anniversary to you.
111 consecutive weeks, have not missed a weekend.
Phenomenal. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, and you've been a really important guide for our tribe as we make it through these incredible times. So what are your thoughts about the last 2 years, and what are your thoughts about where we're going?
Well, wow, what 2 years these have been. Really. Okay. Well, I think like so many people, I'm sure, are speaking about this. We're on the verge of a major transformation, a major transition. The word crisis means a turning point, and we can either wake up or we can do the same old, and the same old is not going to work. We're going to self-destruct. And I think that this is an incredibly exciting time. Of course, after crises and challenges and dark ages comes the Renaissance. And I think we are here for a Renaissance. And this Renaissance is for the waking up of consciousness. And, I think people feel this, they know this, we get that it's a big time on the planet. Anybody who's here now listening to this gets this. And it's no mistake that we incarnated now. We were born for these times. We are called for this time. And I think what we're seeing is the last couple of years, a big thing that happened is that people reprioritized.
Shannon Anderson,
People were accomplishing things. That they climbed a mountain and they realized they were climbing the wrong mountain. And this has been called a time of the great resignation. People have resigned from jobs like crazy, and they're leaving what they were doing to follow their hearts. And I think that this is phenomenal. Scott, 2 years ago, I was honored to be on one of those first Saturday Night Lives. And during that time, we were just starting the pandemic, maybe a few months into it at the time. And I talked about 3 things that I thought were being called of us. And I just revisited that when I knew I was coming on here. And I want to speak to those 3 things that we talked about. We talked about that we were being called to a different pace, a different space, and a different interface. And here's what I meant by those. The pace, we were being called to slow down. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, and maybe you've had this experience too, who've said, I needed this so badly. I didn't realize how burned out I was. And I think that people are recognizing that pace that I was living at before was unsustainable. And now there's got to be a different pace that's more honoring of a sustainable lifestyle that really works. And then space, we really started paying more attention to where were we. We gave more attention to our homes, our outer space to become, I know I've done a lot of home improvement in the last couple of years, but also to my inner space. What do I want my inner space to be like? And I've seen so many people doing much more of their inner work. And then interface. I think what we've seen is the importance of community, of connection, of relationship. The happiness research has always said that we need to have connection to be happy. And we've seen that people who fared the best through these couple of years were those who stayed connected. And, thank you to you, Scott and Deborah, for Saturday Night Alive, who that you came in to offer community. And that was, really born of this need to connect. And so I think that we need to move forward with these 3 things in mind. Am I going to move forward at a pace that's sustainable? And I'm going to continue to give attention to living in an inner and outer space that really works for me? And am I going to continue to be in connection and in relationship and in community in a way that is life nourishing and supporting?
Beautifully stated, and I love that you went back to that. And yes, I have noticed so many people that needed to slow down. And people that have their dharma we're blessed. When we know what our dharma is, it's a really good thing. And I
Yeah.
think for a lot of people, they needed to get out of what they were, where they were, the mountain they were climbing, as you said,
Yes.
get back into a restful place and really be able to listen to spirit of, oh, this is what I really need to be doing. This is what really matters in my life.
Yeah, there's a beautiful Howard Thurman quote that says, um, let me try to remember it properly. It says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive.
Mm.
And I think that is so important. It's not, okay, what do I need to, yes, whatever it is that you're called to do, what makes you come alive is what the world needs. And I think that's a really important thing that we all reflect on is what is it that is. So I'm very grateful again that what makes you come alive, Scott, is this. So
Yeah. Well, thank you. And thank you for all the times you've been on the show, helping people learn about miracles. That was just one of
I
our
love
absolute best shows we ever did.
I love doing that, Scott. Right now, as we, we're at that point 2 years ago, we were looking at the pandemic, and now we're looking at the world, in a very different way in the Ukraine and the whole crisis there. And what I've seen is that people, what's going on now, we're empathic by nature, and we are all connected to other people's suffering, and it certainly triggered us. My grandfather actually came from Ukraine when he was 14 years old. So I feel a very, very deep impact from that. And I think what I'm seeing these days is that people are falling into kind of one of two camps about how they're dealing with this. And one is where people are either feeling hopeless and powerless, or people are saying, you know what, we can't afford for us to stay hopeless and powerless. And really the antidote to being hopeless is to have vision. We need to have vision. We need to be able to imagine or dream what's possible. Everything starts with that vision or dream. So we have the ability to hold on to a vision for a peaceful world. Visionary is someone who looks not at what is, but at what is possible. And we watch the news and it may look like it's impossible, but we need to be the ones to, like John Lennon says, imagine all the people living life in peace. We have to be the visionaries, the ones who can hold on to that possibility. And then I also think that instead of feeling powerless, which means I can't do anything to make a difference, we have to own our responsibility and the difference that we can make. We make a difference just by living in the light as much as we can. Our light impacts the world. We make a difference by sending our light and love. We are a force of light and love, and our energy and our attention can be a very powerful gift for the world, for people across the world. And then we can also take action wherever we feel inspired, whether it's donating or whatever it is you feel called to do. So we are truly here right now to be a stand for what's possible, to imagine that, and to be empowered in our actions, so that we can make this all really the shift that this world needs right now, the renaissance that's being called from us.
I wish the entire world could hear what you just said. I mean, you summed up so perfectly really where we need to go in such an inspirational but very clear way. And you're just a brilliant communicator, Marcy.
No, Scott, you're a wonderful communicator of all of this to the world, broadcaster of all of this to the world. And Scott, it may sound trite, but I must quote the chorus of Imagine, because you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Someday you'll join us, and I know everyone here is joining us. We are together in this, and the world will live as one.
God, thank you so much, Marcy. That was perfect.
Wow, that was amazing. That was so poignant. Scott, I think you're muted still. I loved how she said we can't afford to live in hopelessness, and then talked about the vision and calling forth our vision. And I just felt her transmission so powerfully, and the positivity, not just the positivity, the acknowledgement of everything going on, and then calling in the potential of our beingness. And I just love that, to step into our vision, that call to step into our vision.
Well, she talked about John Lennon and Imagine. And as fate would have it, last week, Julian Lennon sang his father's song publicly for the very first time. He had always felt that it would be inappropriate for him to sing it because he didn't want to ride on his father's coattails somehow. But given the war in Ukraine, he did a fundraising event and sang it for the very, very, very first time. And so I thought it would be quite poignant after what Marcy said, and of course we all want peace in Ukraine, peace in the world. Here I'm going to play Julian Lennon singing his father's most famous song for the first time ever. And here we go.
One, two.
Wow.
So
That was a perfect way to
a perfect way to end an amazing weekend. Yeah. Thank you, Tangela, for being this wonderful new part of our Global Peace Tribe family.
Oh,
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Kristen, for providing such amazing moments. Go ahead, Tangela.
I just want to say thank you so much, Scott and Kristen, for the amazing and beautiful show today. It was just so empowering and so sacred, and just so beautiful to gather together with everyone on this high holy day for so many of us, and just have this resonance that we're creating together. And I just would like everyone to really join the Global Peace Tribe community on Soul Search, so we can continue collaborating and connecting and communicating, and just like, let's see what's going to continue unfolding. And really the mission behind Soul Search is that we really can bring these sacred moments and these holy moments that are so empowering and so connecting out into the world, because so much of the world lives in separation. We have such the privilege and the honor of having this beautiful community here, where we're creating and sharing these moments together. And, you know, it's now time like to really bring these moments out to the rest of the world, so that we can continue sharing and building and creating this global vision of peace and abundance and unity and one love that we all know is possible. And just like Marcy Shimoff said, just to hold that vision, each one of us, but to create that vision together, both, you know, within the Global Peace Tribe community, but then out into the world. So I wanted to thank you both, and thank you all for creating this beautiful community and just inviting me to be a part of it. I really thank you so much. It's beautiful.
And a reminder, I would suggest as soon as we hang up, do two things. Make sure you register for the Mary Magdalene event and go to soulsearch.io, and join and tool around and take a look at all the amazing practitioners and the community and the events and all the different things that are going on. And put yourself in there. You know, many of you are, there's of course Alan Steinfeld, many of you are healers, practitioners. So soulsearch.io. I also want to bring on Brother Omashar to thank him. You know, Omashar started as a viewer of the show. And we got to communicating. He said, well, you know, I play some music, and he was kind of low key about it. And I said, well, I can send you a video. And it was like, oh my God, this guy's great. And now he's become a regular part of the show.
Thank you.
And that's how it is. We continue to grow that way.
My privilege and my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Omashar.
We love you, Omashar. Thank you for all the healing and the blessings that you bring us through your incredible expression of music. So much love there.
Yes.
I feel it.
Reflections. Thank you.
Beautiful.
And I'm so excited to go on Soul Search. This feels like it's been such a much needed tool for so long. I can't even wait.
Well, Kristen, I can't wait to have you on there and to bring your music out into the world. And you too, Omashar. I mean, it's just for me, I think we shift so much through vibration and frequency, and both of your music, it's just a pure channel to the sacred, to the divine, to who we truly are. And, for us to, again, bring this out into the world. So it's not just our spiritual communities here that are sharing and receiving all of the gifts that you have to offer, but really bringing it out into the whole world. So I'm super excited just to be connecting with you both here, and then really looking forward to collaborating together and getting you all out there. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having the courage and the dedication to really birth this much needed space into being, because I know it's taken a lot of work and a lot of probably difficult and challenging times to figure out how to make it all happen and how to make it work. But it is a space that has been truly needed and called for. And so thank you for your dedication and for making it a reality so that we can all dive in and enjoy and connect and understand what we're all offering in our unique gifts and engage in new ways. So
exactly. Now, thank you so much for acknowledging that. And when Spirit first brought me, the idea, they said, actually, the technology to do this has been around, but global consciousness was not at the place where we were all ready to receive all of the beautiful gifts and wisdom that everyone has to offer. And so now we're at this time where the world is awakening, where global consciousness is ready. And we have so many of you, all beautiful souls, ready to share and ready to bring your gifts out into the world. So I'm just really excited to what we're going to be co-creating together. I mean, this is really the only beginning and the first steps. And this is a real community effort with all of us building and growing together to really change the world. So thank you.
I just am so grateful for all of you, and so many wonderful comments coming in from our audience. A lot of people are acknowledging this. So Nancy writes that the sun came out in Pennsylvania as Imagine was being sung. And Tarina has already joined Soul Search. So there you have it. All right. I've got a lot of things I need to still get done to get all the replays made and turned into YouTubes for the weekend. And then a 3 o'clock sound check with Christy Michaels and her Mary Magdalen. So I want to wish everybody a very, very happy Easter. Kristen, I love co-hosting with you.
I love co-hosting with you. It's like a super love fest. And I just want to say, let's all put our hands up and just say, happy anniversary, Scott. And happy anniversary to the awakening world. And we are so grateful for all you do. It is a labor of love, and we know that, and we fully appreciate you. So it has been a beautiful anniversary weekend. Thank you for your dedication, your heart, your spirit, your joy, your tears, your deep sense of empathy and compassion that calls us back again and again and again. I can say I have grown so much as a being and as a musician in this space, and I know we all have. So thank you. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Hugging you all. Thank you, Kristen. That made my day. This has been an amazing weekend. All right. I love you all. Hope to see you all at 4 o'clock for Christy's event. And happy Easter, happy Passover, happy everything. See you soon. Take care, everybody.
Happy anniversary. Lots of love.